dear members of the governing body, Dr. Bhatt, Chintamaneni, Sri Devatia, Professor Phadke, faculty, staff, graduates, and their parents. Good morning. What an amazing day, what an amazing occasion. It is a great honor with which I address you today to celebrate the students' achievements, your achievements during these extraordinary times. This is really a culmination of your dedication of many years, efforts to excel, to hit your boundaries and go beyond. Congratulations to everybody. Not only the fresh grads, but the teachers and parents and the whole ecosystem. It indeed takes a village to bring up a child, and this is no different. So to all the fresh graduates, you are graduating at an extraordinary time. I'm sure you've heard it quite a few times already. What world-changing events, life-altering adaptations are happening. And you're graduating from an innovative program, a very modern design program. You're already 1%ers. But I wonder what your hopes and desires are, given how the last couple of years have gone and how things have been changing. The world is a very different place today than, say, when I graduated many, let's say many moons ago. I was just reflecting on it, thinking about what I wanted to share with you. And I mean, I came from a solid middle-class background, but I saw TV for the first time when I was 10 years old. And it isn't that we didn't have access to TV, there was no TV. I saw my first VCR. Actually, I don't even know if people remember what a VCR is, but let me use something else. I used my first cell phone when I was 27, which I dare say is several years away for most of you. I used CDs to play baby songs for my first child and SD cards for the second. So just in the space of a few years, technology at the most absorbent level where everybody was using it just completely changed. And of course, I mentioned VCR, but VHS, Laserdisc, Palm Pilot, and dial-up modem. So you can imagine there are many words I'm speaking here that you might have just read about, but I'd be very surprised that if you ever needed to use them. But such is life, such is change, and such is technology. Now we just stream everything, right? But the world is going to change even more rapidly than what it has in the last 30 years. It is going to get more complex. Everything keeps getting more complex all the time. At Designit, we have experimented with many things that augur the future in some ways. So we have designed bots that can imbibe your personality and speak on your behalf. So instead of you showing up, your bot shows up and communicates with the next person. Turns out the next person might also be a bot, right? So we are fast moving into this space where a human being is augmented by many things, right? And it's not all medical. We have designed robots here in Bangalore. We designed a robot a couple of years ago. It was supposed to be a service robot. What that means is we were envisaging scenarios where we would punch something on the phone or make a voice call, just speak it out loud, get me a coffee, please. And the robot was supposed to get a coffee to you. That would have been a great use case to demonstrate ability of all these technologies to work together. Guess what was the biggest conversation point and point of, let's say, some controversy in this whole design? It wasn't the physical design of the robot, not the materials, not the AI technology, none of that. The controversy was around whether it should have male or female voice. Why? Because it's going to service you, it's going to bring coffee to you. Should it have a female voice? Does that perpetuate a stereotype? Should it have a male voice? Does it signal something more? So the point here is that technology itself is not the solution. Technology itself is not the problem. Human beings, we, us, are infinitely complex. And your goal, your job as designers who have been working to humanize technology and learn all the flavors of what that means, that becomes your battle cry. That becomes your core challenge. How do you mediate between all the things that are complex human society imbibes and all the things that technology is capable of, but it is not capable of culture? Now, of course, who would have thought that we could do convocation ceremonies like this or that anybody would like it? But of course, we can make things work. We can even make things more preferable. Indeed, it is a great time to be alive. And it has never been a better time to be a designer. And that is because there has never been a greater need for someone to translate between ever increasing complexity in challenges as well as their solutions, and to mediate between technology that is running rampant, right? Every day you read something and you go, okay, I don't know what this is and how this is happening, but it's going to happen anyway. So between that technology and people who are bewildered, befuddled, bemused with all of it, they are just along for the ride. A lot of times, all of us on this call, I think we probably can call ourselves the forerunners in technology usage. From the youngest of us to the oldest of us, we are already here on Zoom. We are already forerunners. But imagine the rest of the world where still the internet penetration is only 50%, 60%. There is still wide swaths of humanity that doesn't use the internet, that still uses button phones. And if you think about that, that is when you realize that there's a lot more work to be done. And actually, this technology is no less than magic or really confusing for a lot of people, a lot of humans. So rest assured, you will have a job for life. And maybe I should say that you can mediate between people and technology for as long as you live, but your jobs will likely keep changing in the fact you can expect to work for a dozen different organizations through your career, and or if you don't start something yourself, and expect to run like half a dozen different careers, where your role will change significantly. So the level of change that we have seen the last 2 years, imagine that the new normal doesn't look like the old normal at all. It is new, and it is what might have been considered abnormal earlier will just become the new truth. And if you think about it, it has always been so, pandemic or not. Today is always magic to the past, right? And today's normal is always abnormal in the past as well. And so it will be. So, what can you expect? What is it? How do you map your hopes and aspirations to a world that looks like this, and it will look a lot more stranger and different in the future? Well, for one thing, you can expect to live a long and mostly healthy life. And this is because with all the rapid changes in healthcare, technology, understanding of the human body, you might very well be the first generation that augments its humanity in ways that enables you to live healthily over 100 years or even more. If it sounds crazy, yes, but I will tell you, this is eminently realistic. It has immense implications for how you work, how you interact with people, and what do you do on our planet. So it is great that you are able to live a healthy 100 years, but it would be better if you could actually if you actually could have a great world to live inside of, right? Um, you know, it is no fun to live in a world where pollution is such that you have meter readings telling you on the road while you are stuck in traffic, emitting even more pollution, what the reading is today. We all might remember 2 years ago, the the notorious readings from Delhi NCR region. Today it is so dangerous to go outside. It is like smoking 10 cigarettes and whatnot. And then the reports after lockdown, how the skies cleared up. In Ludhiana, people can see the Himalayas, which they had never been able to see, and so on and so forth. So you got all these stories. So, you know, uh, living a healthy, long life isn't just for you, it is for the planet, right? And that is going to be the defining challenge for you and the defining opportunity, frankly. For my generation, it was the internet. It has been the internet without a doubt. 30 years ago, the world was so different because internet did not exist. For you, it is climate change. You are going to own a world which needs your TLC, which needs your loving care. But it also means that you have the greatest opportunity to do something for the earth and make a great living with it. And did I mention that you're going to live long? So you need a challenge that lasts with you. For we are nothing without a challenge when we get up. Imagine you had everything. And when you would get up, first of all, there would be no incentive to wake up at a certain time. And what would be the incentive for us to get out of beds if we had everything? So there is always a challenge. And this one is the greatest that humanity has to solve. And I think you are ripe for solving it. You are at the right place, the right time. So my first thing for you is to look at your world, focus on opportunities and ideas that can remake and improve it. Technology is going to play a huge role. And again, you will be the translators of technology. For example, electric cars are here, battery-based energy storage is here, solar is cheaper than conventional energy in India. And this is just the start. So for the next, just like the past 25 years were, you could say it was the internet civilization and how we have changed and all the things that has enabled, you saw a whole bunch of new companies to be the world's most successful ones that are different than the ones that existed 25 years ago. Similarly, in the next 10 years, not even 25, next 10 years, you will see emergence of companies that didn't exist earlier, but will become super relevant in the next 1 decade, 2 decade of time. And they all will have something to do with climate change. Second, I want you to take care of your fellow humans. Now this, first we talk about the planet, now I'm talking about people around you. We are all on this rock together for a very short time. Even 100 years is not long. And it is really very unseemly to work in a win-lose model. In fact, in our work, in our commercial work, we have found greatest success for our organizations and clients that work with us when the model is based on the premise of win-win-win. Everybody wins. And frankly, that is the only way anything will work in the future. The world is too complex. The world is in too much of a hurry. There are too many things that urgently need solution that, win-lose will stop working. It is already stopping to work and it'll become even more so in the future. Now, I mentioned that we're going to live long, and of course, this is an ongoing theme here, obviously, but because of that, and because the world is a small place and getting smaller constantly, it makes even more sense to be kind to your fellow humans and non-humans. It has, you will see already there's a time for dialogue around fairness and what is right, and global movements around Me Too and inclusion and diversity and equity. Things are already happening. Comeuppance for those with past poor behavior. So you can already imagine that this world is only going to accelerate. In fact, as a species, we can only progress with ever more complex and large scale collaboration. So that it makes sense to develop a real understanding for your fellow humans and a real empathy for everybody that is on this journey with you. So that you can succeed in leading and following so that you can create great outcomes. No matter amount of personal brilliance is going to be sufficient to solve challenges that face all of us and the opportunities to succeed over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Gandhiji said that whenever you do something, consider whether your actions or what your actions that you're contemplating are going to do to the poorest and the weakest person you have seen. This is not just a socialist idea. I will submit to you that this is the core basis for our shared progress. This is the core basis for us to be more human than before. If you're going to live longer, you don't want to become more machine. You want to become more human. And you're working in humanizing technology. It makes all the more sense that we understand what being human means, right? Only then can we humanize things that are not human. So finally, we have talked about the globe. We talked about your fellow humans and non-humans. Let's talk something about you. So here's my advice from what I've seen and what I've worked on in the past and what I see happening to you as designers and as people who are looking to make the world a better place, to prioritize diverse experiences over almost anything else in life, especially starting out now. Design is an experiential profession, is an experiential discipline. We cannot think our way into brilliant solutions sitting inside our rooms. Make it a priority for you, if it is not already, to seek out diverse work experiences, life experiences, people experiences. The more diversity we have inside our brain, the more experiences of that nature that we have inside our brain will make our work better, much, much better. So work with big companies, small companies, non-profits, for-profits, work in large teams, small teams. Seek out work as soon as you become comfortable. Seek out what makes you uncomfortable and attend to it, work at it. All of these activities will develop abilities and intuition that will hold you in great stead. Second, work with great managers, great leaders, work with great teams. Prioritize this over money every single time. You will find always it will be true in life. Somebody will be there to be able to pay you more for the work that you do today. However, make sure you understand where you're leading with that. It always has to lead to better collaboration, better partnerships, better people that you work with, better managers that you work with. It'll make you a better human being. This is a lifetime of experience of mine, and I bet if you ask anybody who has been around for a while, they will not have an answer much different than that on this particular matter. Yeah. So in your first 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, seek out great mentors. Put them on your personal board. Seek them out, talk to them, and you will see how much you grow personally and not just professionally, I'm talking about, right? Finally, the last thing about this, we have talked about the world, we talked about all of this. Last 2 years have been a wake-up call for all of us, every single human being, to look inwards, focus on your health, focus on your physical health, focus on your mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. And I can only relate back to when I was in your situation, your position. My view at that time was I just didn't think about it. I was going to lead my life, live my life. And I was a healthy, happy person. That was all there is. And I didn't really think much about it. I have to say, with this pandemic and everything else, it is super important that we prioritize it. Figure out what that means for you. Make it part of your daily habit. This has nothing to do with your profession, but this has everything to do with your profession. You cannot bring your best to the world if you don't feel the best inside. Make it a priority to focus on your physical health, mental health, spiritual health. Keep a company that enriches you. Find people that make you feel great and make you feel better. Live and work with your family. That's the only one that you got, and it is irreplaceable. So the last thing that I will say is that all of the things I said earlier apply if you are of healthy and happy body and mind. Focus on that. You are at a perfect stage in life. For most of you, hopefully, health is almost an automatic given. If it is not, work on it. If it is, count your blessings and make sure that you can last this out, because you want to get to the point where you have the choice to live as long as you want, to do work as meaningful as you want. To do that, you have to cross the bridge from now to then. And you only have one vessel that you have, and it has to work for you at peak efficiency forever. So focus on that. Make sure that you're ready for the world that needs you. So I will close with just saying that, you are at an amazing time where a lot of things that have never happened are happening. And maybe they don't feel big to you, or maybe they do. But but think and reflect that these are historical moments, and you, in your own unique story, in your own unique way, in this unique program, you have made history for you. And this is just the beginning of a new, perhaps, more exciting, more unpredictable journey that will lead you to your next step. And who knows what tomorrow might bring us all. And who knows if you are not the ones creating that tomorrow that is brought to us. So with that, I will close in saying, good luck, and what an amazing future you have to contemplate. And I am rooting for you all the way to make the most of it, make a great world. It'd be fantastic to hand over leadership to you, and enjoy the world that you create for us. Good luck, and thank you.
Thank you.